My name is Ian and welcome to my gardening channel on YouTube, Planted. Now in this video we're going to look at growing garden soil and the steps I take to make that happen. We'll also be looking at some of the plants that I'm currently overwintering and how they are progressing. Now I have a wood stove and I use the ash on my garden, and I have been for many years. Ash is a good source of calcium. It will increase your pH slightly, but I want to impress upon you that more is not better. I put on frequent applications of a very small amount over a large area. Wood ash will add lime. It'll increase, well, it's got calcium in it. It will increase the pH of your soil slightly, but there's all sorts of other minerals in there that are soluble in the soil profile. A light sprinkling over a large area does have an accumulated beneficial effect. Now, in addition to adding ashes to a garden, I've also got leaves there that I want to decompose. Now the decomposition process is quite complicated, and it's also very slow. So here we are in January, and I'm actually adding a light application of fertilizer to help G up that decomposition process. Have a look at the carbon-nitrogen ratio on the internet. You'll understand about that much more clearly. But I want to show you, we're adding fertilizer, we're adding ashes. These leaves have been on for the best part of 3 months, since November. And if I just move these aside, it's only a 4-inch layer once it's settled. But what I want to show you, in here there's a little perennial. This is a tough, hardy perennial called Trichotis. Has beautiful orchid-like leaves. And it's protected by the leaves. Strong winds can't affect it. And it's going to happily exist there in a wonderful state of growing, ready for spring to come. And it can burst through the leaves and it'll be doing just fine. The leaves are a wonderful insulation and a protective layer from strong winds. So many things in gardens are linked to other aspects of gardening. Let me just move this layer of leaves aside. What we have underneath here is an environment where biological activity is rife. And look at this soil, not compacted. That's worm activity, and it's also the frost thaw activity of the winter months. Both of those things are very beneficial in creating really good soil. It takes time. So you can grow things in your garden in the winter. The most important of them is your topsoil. I want to give you an update on the plants that I'm overwintering. First, we're going to go into the greenhouse. It's mid-30s outside, and it's early in the morning, around 8:30. But I want to show you that these plants are not exactly vibrant. They're not going to win any flower shows, but that's by design. They're on the dry side and they're on tick over. But what I really want to do is show you the temperature. We're right at 42 degrees, and that is a much more conducive temperature for plants overwintering than it is near the 32, which is obviously freezing. These are all tender and they're all kept on the dry side, which I find is a great way and has a lot more success to get your plants to go through the winter. Now I found this. This is a beautiful agapanthus. But look what happened. Some little creature decided to nibble all the roots. And this is why you should check your plants. You put them in a greenhouse and leave them there, and you don't quite know what you're going to find. This plant's going to get potted up and saved for the spring. These 4 plants are on a bedroom window. They have got 55 degrees, maybe come up to 60s. But I just need to give these a little bit more heat, a little bit more protection than the greenhouse can offer. And first of all, we've got a gardenia. I don't think anyone needs an introduction to a gardenia. Wonderful fragrance, high hopes of that. This ugly looking plant right here is the beautiful snail vine, or Cochleocanthus. And if we look down here, you can see that we've got a new shoot with new leaves on it. I'm going to repeat this a number of times. It doesn't matter how ugly your plants are in the winter, it's will they survive. This is the plant that was in the ground, and with a nice big root system and strong stems. But look at that right there. That's a new shoot. So this plant is actively growing, and it's got more shoots that will become more apparent as we go into longer days with a higher degree of sun intensity. For right now, it's on tick over. It's very, very happy. This is the Aristolochia. This is the big tropical Aristolochia. The growth on this is much more visible, but we just want it. If you think of in the summer a car revving really heavy, that's a plant in full flower. These plants are just on tick over. They're at the lights, they're going nowhere, they're just on tick over. The last plant is the Christia. Grew these from seed. They look terrible, but I'm not in the slightest bit worried about that. I just want these plants to live. I pinch them back a number of times so they don't get too leggy and take up too much space. But this plant, I think, is going to be a big feature this year. And just look at that little leaf, like a floating butterfly. So I'm delighted with these plants. They will stay here until March, late March. They'll go down to the greenhouse, and then they'll get planted out probably sometime in May. Now I'm in my basement, and I don't have space for these plants upstairs on the windowsill. And these are the very precious Colocasia black runner. The temperature that these need to overwinter at is 50 degrees. If they go lower than that, I find that they tend to rot off. So my greenhouse being at that 38 degree minimum is just too low. So these get a little bit of a extra special care and attention. We have the leaves that they came in here with, and these are the new leaves that, because of the low light level, they are green, but they will go dark. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got 6 in here. So they are just on tick over, not too wet, but a little bit warmer than the greenhouse. And then over here, this is a plant called Alocasia, which has huge leaves. And I was given these last year by a friend, and you can just see we've got a leaf here emerging. These are overwintering. This is not too wet, and I don't want lots of growth. So another place to put plants is in a basement if you have it, and if you can put them near a window, that's even better. And I have to stress yet again, these are on tick over. These are not growing fast. I just don't want them to die. The gardening industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they go out of their way to market you things like this that don't work. This raised bed has failed. Don't waste your money. That's it. Bye for now.